What's up, guys? Welcome back to Gladiators Tribe, and today we're doing the top 5 best rackets of 2024. This top 5 has pretty much become a tradition at this point, and I mean, it only makes sense because, you know, all the holidays are pretty much happening next month, and all of the awesome sales and discounts associated with those holidays are happening starting pretty much next week. So it only makes sense for me to do this top right now so you can get all of the gifts and presents for your loved ones and friends, or maybe for yourself already, and not have to worry about it last minute. I have all of the rackets with me on this rooftop right down here. So let's start with racket number 5. And racket number 5 has had a place in this top in every single one of them since the first one back in 2022, and it is the Yonex E-Zone 98. They have released the new paint job this year, which makes it look really freaking good, and it actually put it on the best looking rackets list that I did not that long ago. And I mean, it is just a really good and solid racket. It's a 98-inch head, but it's a 98 E-Zone Yonex head, which means it pretty much feels like a 100-inch. It's powerful, it's rather controlled, it has really good feel, and the sweet spot is just massive. I guess I said it has rather good control, but maybe that's the only thing that it lacked for me back in the times when I was planning to actually switch to this racket and when it made our top 1 spot back in 2022. With this updated paint job, it makes me think again about possibly trying it one more time in terms of maybe switching to it. But yes, it's just a really good racket. If you're looking for a racket that can pretty much do everything, and maybe you don't really have access to playtesting rackets and you can't really nail down the exact perfect frame that's gonna fit you, this is actually a good frame to just buy right off the top of your head, because it just fits very many people and it just checks very many boxes, and you're definitely gonna feel good with it. Maybe just playing around with the tension a little bit, but in terms of just playability and comfort of use, this is a really good racket and possibly one of the best ones of the ones that are in this top. So yes, the Yonex E-Zone 98. And by the way, you have to get it in this paint job, otherwise it makes no sense. All right, moving on to racket number 4. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that if you want to buy any of the rackets mentioned in this video, or anything else tennis related really, the links to get these and also the reviews to these rackets are going to be down in the description below, together with our exclusive discount code that is going to save you some cash. It also helps the channel, and now you're hopefully watching this during the Black Friday weeks and deals and all this stuff before New Year's and Christmas, and you'll get the best possible price on them. But yeah, moving on to racket number 4, which is the Head Speed MP. Is in this beautiful Speed Legend paint job that I absolutely loved, and it also made the top 5 best looking rackets in the video that I did over here. You can check it out if you want. But yeah, I'm starting to think that it's pretty much going to be the same exact top 5 as my best looking rackets top 5. But no, don't worry guys, I'm being objective here. I'm actually making some sacrifice even, so don't worry about it. Anyways, it's the Head Speed Legend MP. And what can I say? It's a really good overall power and spin oriented racket. It's really not for me, and that's why I'm saying that, you know, some sacrifices have been made in this top 5, because I wouldn't play with this racket. But I know that this is a really good racket for people who are chasing spin and power. And with the Exotic technology, and actually in this case it's the Exotic 2.0, this racket just outperforms most of the spin and power oriented rackets on the market, in my opinion. With the Exotic technology, you get a lot more stability and feel, which is something that I was lacking 2 generations ago. In the Exotic 2.0, I guess they kind of, you know, just calibrated a little bit more to make it feel even better, and I'm really liking the implementation of Exotic in this racket, and this racket overall for people who are looking for power and spin. Not for me, but it's really good, and that's why it's on the top 4 spot and not any higher, because, you know, I'm still being a little bit biased, guys. You know, you can't expect me to be completely objective and professional. You know, I'm Grisha. Anyways, moving on to racket number 3. We're getting to the bronze medalist of the list. I really hope they don't all fall down there, because otherwise that's going to be expensive. Anyways, racket number 3. And the racket number 3 is a Babolat. A Babolat Pure Strike 116 by 20. I'm saying this name a little bit slow because I'm confused with all the names and all the models that Babolat has released this year, but the Babolat Pure Strike lineup has definitely surprised me in the best possible way. Not just with the 16x20 100 version of it, but with pretty much every single one of them. I've done the review of most of the rackets on the lineup. I didn't manage to do all of them. Hopefully I'll do that further on in the future, but this racket has really impressed me. The control that you get combined with the pretty decent sweet spot and the actually decent spin and all of the other criteria that you can be looking for in a racket makes it a really solid and balanced racket if you're looking for something more on the control and feel side. If the head speed and P is more on the spin and power side, this is also kind of balanced but more on the control and feel. This is pretty much everything you can ask for in a very versatile and overall good solid racket that will fit a lot of players. That is kind of, you know, hinting towards control. It's a 16x20 string bed, which kind of makes it, you know, best of both worlds in my opinion. It's a 100-inch head, which gives you the margin for error, the decent power, and also the spin. And it's a rather, you know, not thick, not thin beam, which kind of really puts it, you know, almost perfectly in the middle between power, spin, and control and feel. And that's just what I really like about it, because that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's a little bit hinting more towards control, as I said, but it's just a very good overall frame. You get the good spin that you're looking for. You're not gonna like that at all. You get good control. You're not gonna feel like every single ball is flying out through the fence, and it's just really good. And it has really improved over the previous generation of the Strike, so I really like it. I really recommend you try it out because it's just a really solid racket. Anyways, moving on to racket number 2. And racket number 2 is an interesting one, because this racket should have made the last year's top 5, but I reviewed it after filming the top 5 best rackets. It was in winter, so I actually couldn't put it in the top 5, but for this year, I'm gonna correct that mistake and put the Babolat Pure Aero 98 on the top 2 best rackets of 2024. Guys, as I like to say, if I were to switch to a Babolat racket right now, this or the Pure Strike would be the racket that I'd be switching to. And the reason why I decided to put this racket on number 2 and not the Pure Strike is because I just feel like this thing can really fit a lot more people. Even though it's a 98-inch head, you know, it really doesn't feel like a 98-inch head. And again, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's really good on control. I wouldn't say that it's the most control-oriented racket. In fact, I would actually argue that the Pure Strike 100 is a more control-oriented racket. It's really good on power, not as powerful as the Pure Aero 100, obviously, but it's, you know, more powerful than the Pure Strike. It is also really good on spin, better than the Pure Strike, but not as much as the Pure Aero, so you're kind of, you know, still, you know, drifting in the middle, and it gives you really good stability and really good feel, which I absolutely love about the new Pure Aero 98. And I mean, it is endorsed by Carlos Alcaraz, so, you know, this says something about the racket. But yeah, it's just an overall, again, really good balanced racket that kind of ticks a lot of boxes and does a lot of things. And I actually think that I put it on the top 5 most versatile rackets list that I did not so long ago as well. Check it out over there if you haven't. And I mean, I love playing with it. I loved reviewing it, and I know that it's gonna fit a lot of players on tour, off tour, and just everywhere and anywhere. But yes, let's put this over here on top of the Pure Strike and move on to the champion, to the winner, to the number 1 of this list. And it is the Wilson Blade 98 16x19. Listen guys, I know there's gonna be a lot of you saying, Grisha, what are you doing putting this racket on number 1? And actually, if this was my top 5 list, I wouldn't put it here, honestly. I would put something else here. And I won't tell you what, but because this is a top 5, you know, best rackets of 2024, objectively speaking and being professional, and not a Grisha's top 5 best rackets, I'm gonna put this thing over here because it has really impressed me and surprised me. It is more on the control side, facts, because it's a 98-inch head, it's a rather thin beam, and you know, it's kind of the racket that Tsitsipas endorses, so you know, it's control oriented for sure. But it is a 16x19, which means that you can really spin the ball with this. This is not a spinning machine, but this is not a top 5 best rackets for spin. Don't worry about that. We're definitely gonna do that top 5 further on in the future, so stay tuned for that. But, you know, if you're looking for just a really, really, really good racket that offers everything, maybe not so much power, but it offers really good stability, which I love. It offers really good control, which I also love. The spin is really, really nice. And then, okay, maybe it's not the most powerful racket, but also by no means is it a weak racket. So, you know, it just ticks a lot of boxes, as I said, and I really like it. And yes, just because it made the top 1 best racket of 2024, it doesn't mean that it's much better than all of the other rackets mentioned in this top 5, because, you know, they're all really, really good, and I consider them to be the best that, you know, every single brand makes, because I think we actually pretty much covered most of the brands that produce rackets. But, you know, I'd switch to any of these at any point if I really had to, because they're all really, really solid frames. I'm just really highlighting this one. I have to be honest, because I was really impressed by the 18x20 version, but, you know, this is just a better fit for most players. But yeah, any of these rackets, if you buy them, you're really gonna enjoy them and you won't regret the purchase. I'm sure, just make sure you kind of get the right one depending on what you're looking for: power, spin, control, feel, stability, whatever. And yeah, this just made the top 1 this year because, you know, I think it deserves it, and it also looks really nice. You know, the looks are actually magnificent. But yes, this was my top 5 rackets of 2024. Don't forget that if you want to see the more detailed review of these rackets, they're linked down in the description below. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Glads. Also, let me know what your top 5 best rackets of 2024 are, or just top 5 best rackets in general, but specify what kind of player you are, you know, what you're looking for: power, control, spin, just so we know where you're coming from. But for now, I think that this is the end of this video. I really hope that you've enjoyed this top 5. There's a lot more top 5s coming in the nearest future, so definitely stay tuned for that. You know, the typical ones: best rackets for control, best rackets for spin, but also some other ones, so definitely stay tuned for those. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.